Hello around the world. How are you? I'm fine. And I'm happy. And it seems as though words are playing a very important part in our lives. If I just say the word gender, the whole world turns upside down because of one person's belief or another person's belief. And you have to respect people's beliefs, but you also have to be careful of the words that you speak. There's 500 quotes on words. Just go look at them. But I think more important is how the other person perceives those words. So I'm wearing a shirt this morning that says vintage. I could easily wear one that says old. But I think there's a difference between old and vintage. Vintage sounds like it has value. Old sounds like you want to throw it away. Gittimer, you sure look vintage. I'm like, cool. Gittimer, you sure look old. Oh God. Not what I want. That's not what I came into this program for. So I'm going to challenge you, oh smart insiders, oh smart 959ers. Can you come up with words that you should say versus what you shouldn't say? And obviously, we're going to look at Greg Sneed as one who might come up with some interesting ones. But what could I say instead of something like instead of ugly? What could I say? Instead of old, what could I say? Instead of crappy, what could I say? Just asking for a friend. Don't call me young man. Oh, God. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here because it's Friday and I want to talk to you guys. Mills, number one. Coachman, 2 genders, please. Exactly. I have no time to eat this morning. I've been in scramble mode all day so far. And of course, when I went to pour myself a cup of coffee, it had turned off during the night. Keurig gets a mind of its own. 2 genders, please. Benner, hello. Yep. And we're live, and we're so glad to be here together, and I agree. And Susan, Bel Air, Texas. Glenn Caldwell. Hello, Mr. G. So we're here. The Philippines is here. Memphis is here. Sweden is here. They dare to be different. A man should work 8 hours and sleep 8 hours, but not the same 8 hours. Who said that? Who said that? Thomas. Who's the author of that quote? Good morning from Los Angeles. Good morning from Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, cheers to you all. And obviously, the Charlie Watts death was just a stroke of reality. That era is not past, but it's fading. Yep. Good morning, Frank Nell. Good morning, Joaquin. Vintage versus antique, right? There's a classic sign at one of those antique places in Paris at Marche Puce. It says, "We buy junk and sell antiques." And I think that pretty much sums it up for what I want to say. An item should be at least 100 years old to be defined as an antique. Generally speaking, If the item is no older than antique but less than 20, it falls under the term vintage. Whoa. That's cool. Or retro. Very well said, Carl. Very well said. Good morning from Evansville, Indiana. Love it. I lived for 4 years in Bean Blossom. So there you go. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. Mark Twain. Guy was good. Guy was good. Guy was really good. Oh my God. All right. Is the loft open for me to stop by and buy some new Yes Attitude books? Yes, it is, but we have to figure out a time. So text me if you have my text and tell me what time you're going to be around. I'm home all weekend. I'm home today. Morning, John L. Rings. This is so cool. I love this because cool. A vintage Sneedy quote. Vintage is like a fine wine, like an old wine. Yep. Toru, good evening to you, sir. I hope you have or are having a wonderful weekend because yours starts in a half an hour or an hour. Words do matter. Words hurt. Words are tough sometimes, really tough. You could say aged, but that would be kind of cheese or wine, you know? Yep, Indiana's here. For everyone who asks receives. The one who seeks finds. And the one who knocks, the door will be open. Ooh, little Matthew here to start our day. William, good to see you. Crappy can be undesirable. Yep. Yes, it could be. See, there you go. Small-minded people blame others. Average people blame themselves. Wise people blame. See, all blame is foolishness. Yep. Yep. You don't blame, you take responsibility. Kent, excellent. Not good, excellent. Good evening, Toru. Don't call me your drummer. Let another praise you, not your own mouth. Stranger and not your own lips. Boom. So good. Distinguished. Boom. He's very distinguished. Tip for waiters and waitresses. Greet my wife and I. Use folks instead of guys. Oh, I don't disagree with that at all. Say that's interesting instead of that's crazy. Susan, well put. Proud to be a vintage sales pro. Pellegrino, good to see you, bud. 2G, please. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Woo. Charles, you checking that out? It is better to keep your mouth closed and let people think you're a fool than open it and remove all doubt. Mark Twain, what a guy. What a guy. Similar instead of like. Patina versus tarnished. Great to hear Jeffrey on the 959. Phil, it's my total pleasure. Very distinguished. Exactly. I am very distinguished. Kuna. Good morning to you, sir. All the way from Singapore. Morning from Toronto. The only chains and shackles that prevent any of us from realizing our life's dreams are those we ourselves forge in the fires of doubt and hammer out on the anvil of lack of belief in what we say or do. The late, great Cavett Robert. Good morning, Jeffrey. Good morning, Craig. If you're working on something that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. No argument. No argument. I think that's probably best said for salespeople who don't execute the best way humanly possible. What do you think about that? They're a little slack, or maybe a lot slack. But whatever it is, it seems to have taken the place of hard work. And this Jobs quote is classic. If your boss has to tell you to make more calls or do more stuff, it's because you don't believe in what you're doing, or you're complacent about where you are, or you're just plain fat and happy. There's too much crap going on in the world right now. And I think that you have to pull yourself. Vintage versus old. What numbers display on your scale versus how much do you weigh? Oh, yeah. I'm vintage retro then. Exactly, you are. Good evening from Mauritius. Bring in the wine business. It's all about vintage. Exactly. All about vintage. This is cool. Old is gold. Old, golden oldies is how they did it. Gino, the best word said is the one you don't say. Italian quote. Gino, you look Italian. Your heritage is on your face and your name. I love it. Find happiness in the ordinary. Fall in love to someone you can live with. Oh my God. I prefer seasoned. And Taru gets a shout out. Yes, I'm coming out with new material and new books. You'll see. Stay tuned. Everything is in the burner. I will always have new material. I will always have a new book. I mean, always. Sneed gets a shout out. Cynthia gets a shout out. Hey, you sold me a blind horse. I told you didn't look so good. Exactly. God's morning and blessing to you all. Eric, the same to you, bud. You can trust your eyes if your imagination is out of focus. Mark Twain. Boom. Don't call me late for dinner. Greetings from Boston. Visiting with my son to celebrate his birthday and his engagement to his beautiful, amazing fiancée. Isn't that cool? I love that kind of stuff. And now we're talking to one another. I love this. Distinguished is better than extinguished. You're correct. Small minds talk about people. Average minds talk about events. Great minds talk about ideas. That's exactly correct. That is exactly correct. Many people have said different versions of that, but boy, is that true. So true. You think you can and you think you can't, you're right either way. Henry Ford. Yep. I love those P verbs. Continued prayers for Ken Walls and Ron Goodwin's brother. Yeah, Ken Walls hasn't got over it. Hey, I'm going to call him today, see how he's doing. How do you differentiate between good wording and silly political correctness when choosing words? You say what you feel. You say how you grew up. Visually challenging versus ugly. That's perfect. Even a fool thought to be wise when he's silent. There's lies, then there's damn lies, then there's statistics. Yep. Morning to you, Kenny. Darling, your looks can stop time. Wow. I'm not fat, I'm overflowing. Yeah. Plump. How about plump? Loopy's next week. I have Gabrielle next week, and I think she has tennis on Monday. I'm going to say no, but let me review it with her over the weekend. Maybe we'll all go. Beware of the vintage that has turned to vinegar. That's a wine quote. Exactly. You know, so many things are here. Where did you grow up versus where you're from? Exactly. So much more powerful. Round is a shape. Pleasingly plump. Hey, Git Nation. On the road again. Off to Worcester College to see my daughter. Cool. I love that. Pleasingly plump. Be an entrepreneur influencer. Oh my gosh. Instead of ugly, he or she had a great personality. Yep. Purdue. So, guys, it's time for me to go. I got so much to do today, and so do you. It is Vintage Friday for me, but every Friday is vintage for me. I'm going to go see if my coffee machine is warmed up. In the meantime, I'm going to see you tomorrow morning. I'm going to talk about a lot of things that are going on, but more importantly, I want to know how your attitude is holding up under the present stream of bullshit that you fly at you every day from invasions and vaccines and COVIDs and whatever. How do you face that? What are you thinking about? How does it affect you? Very important. Very, very important. And something that you need to focus on. Cool? Cheers to you. Health to you. Peace to you. Have a fun day and a fun family weekend. Please, please have a successful day. Have a successful week. Have a successful month, year, decade, and life. Cheers.